Hey TikTok, Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. It is a Friday, and we're going to be markets down a little bit, but I have some interesting things on the trade alert today. And by the way, you can get that trade alert by going to dallastradingfloor.com. Just fill in the subscription information, and you'll be on the list to get the trade alerts as they come available. And what a day it is. I mean, we definitely have a little bit we're just really seeing a little bit of weakness in the market. So, that's kind of the general overall trend. We are looking a little bit weak in the market. And I just want to show you a few of these, charts here. So hopefully if I can get my TikTok camera going here. Yeah, there we go. A little bit off there. There we go. Okay, super. There it is. Okay. My stand is a little bit slipping a little bit, and I had an issue, unfortunately, with my internet connection. Can you believe it? I need to get some new cables, it looks like. Anyways, here we go. And by the way, for everybody watching on TikTok, this is being simulcast live on YouTube at youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. And my name is Jim, and I will be your host today. So here we go. First thing, the market is still in a confirmed uptrend, but the Dow and the S&P and the NASDAQ are all off. The NASDAQ has dropped below the 1050 level. It's at 10,361.74 when this was taken. It's about almost 1% off today. Definitely looks like there's a little bit of pullback. There's a little bit of concern. The jobs numbers on Thursday was not as good as we expected them to be. So it's a little bit of weakness there. It seems to be a bit of a pullback on some of the earnings. There's been a pullback on Tesla, of course, but I do expect it to strengthen here going forward. But the Dow Jones is off, so is the S&P and the NASDAQ. But I don't think it's not shown a market reversal yet, but I'm going to show you what I'm doing to take steps to protect my gains in this market. So first off is the S&P 500, the SPDR, and this ETF is the world's largest ETF. It's worth about $220 billion. Many people have their entire retirement in this. It's dropped a little bit to 320. There's a little bit of weakness, it seems. This is the weekly chart. It sees it. I was saying that there was support on this at about 300, so we're still well above that. And I do think that the direction is, it's a little bit down, but the volume is up. So that leads me to believe with that kind of action that we're going to see a little bit of softening in the market right now. So that's an important thing to look out for. Another thing that's coming up is the QQQ. Now, I have been mostly in stocks that are in the Q. This is the NASDAQ 100. These are the 100 largest stocks on the NASDAQ. Basically, it's got all the good ones in there, like your Amazons, Microsofts, those kind of stocks. And it is moved down a little bit to 255. I see a support here, hopefully at about 250. But looking at the bars, looking at the chart, we do have some selling activity. So I do believe there may be a movement out of the Qs into quote unquote safe haven trades, which I believe is the medical sector. Many of those, interestingly enough, are also in the NASDAQ. But I do see some softening here a little bit. There is some tension, obviously, with China. In Houston, I don't know if you know, but they shut the consulate in Houston based on spying allegations. So we may have some more choppy waters when it comes to Chinese and Chinese stocks. So be very careful when entering Chinese stocks because we may have some issues. Also on TikTok, TikTok is sort of under attack. So if you're watching me on TikTok and you want to continue watching, why don't you go over to the YouTube, my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor, and I will always be there. And by the way, I archive all my shows on YouTube, so it's youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. Okay, well the Qs are off a tad, and also in addition, the Dow Jones is off. So basically, it started out very, very weak today. It's firmed up a little bit. around noon. So, it is firming up. So we do have essentially, a little bit firming for the weekend. I think that, we're going to see maybe a little bit more weakness, but I do think that we're still in the market uptrend. So you want to be careful. You don't want to short anything. Now, because of the market weakness, I have instituted a little bit of a hedging strategy to protect my portfolio. And here's how I do it. There is a ETF out there called the SQQQ. And normally when the market is marching higher, you do not want to touch this one because typically it moves in opposition to the market. And this moves about 3 times in opposition to the market. I entered it today at 675, just buying 200 shares, not a lot. And I will be in this probably until about 8:10, or depending on how the market is. This is a hedge. This isn't really for making money, but it allows you to basically hedge your position. I do seeing a little bit of weakness in the market, so this might be a way that you can participate without having to, short anything. What this does is it basically shorts the QQQ for you at about a 3-to-1 ratio. So this is one of the ones that I entered today. I probably will not hold this very long. I'm only probably looking at maybe a 3 or 4 or maybe even a week hold on this. But right now I'm in the Qs, the SQQQ, and this is in opposition to the QQQ. I do expect that we're going to see a little bit of weakness in the Qs, and I do think that we're going to be a little bit of consolidation. So this is a way to pick up a little bit of money on that directional movement. Now, I want to go over, I just put this out on my action trade alerts. So if you're interested in the action trade alerts, they're available, and I'm going to just show you really quickly. It's just go to dallastradingfloor.com and just subscribe, and it's all free. And basically, these are the trades as I'm making them. So here's the one that I put out in a flash trade alert today. It's Franklin Nevada Gold, and I do believe that we are seeing a little bit of interest in the gold sector. I've been talking about KL, but I think that this is even a better one. This is even more top rated. This is Franklin Nevada, and basically we're right at a buy point right here, at right below. Let's see if I can give you the exact number on that. Yep, here we go. Here is the trade on that. Basically, when the slide was taken, it was trading at 155.57. That's the underlying stock. So here is how the trade works. Basically, it costs about $470, and this depends on the market price at the time the trade is entered into. You basically buy at 21st August 155 strike call, and that will set you back about $9.05 a share, or $905. And then you simultaneously sell the upper call, which is the 165 August 21st call, and you should get about $4.35 for that, for a total debit of $470. Now, if in that time, if the stock moves up beyond up to above 155 and 165, you will basically end up with a gain there. And this is the matrix that the gain is on. Now, if you want to see this in detail, you need to send me information so that I can send it out to you. And that's in our action trade alerts. And of course, it's free. And it's at dallastradingfloor.com. And also, I just wanted to show you on the screen, if you want to go to that right now and follow along, I do have a special URL which will which will show you exactly what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to put that up on the screen just in a second. Here we go. This is the VIP trade alerts for Franklin, Nevada. And it's kind of a complicated URL, but if you just type this into your browser, you'll be able to work right along with me. It's bit.ly /2D35VLG. I know it's kind of complicated, but that is this trade right here. And also I sent it out on the action trade alerts. So basically what it does is that we're right at a buy point here. What this does is that this gives you a spread until the 21st of August. I expect this to go higher based on this chart pattern. This is the marked up chart pattern. And you can see that, of course, on the actual on the actual URL as well. Again, the one I have on the screen. Now, for everybody that's on TikTok, you can't see this, unfortunately, But what you can do to get the trade alerts, it's very easy. Just go to my profile, click on the link, and you'll be taken directly to the page where you can sign up for this. So everybody that's on Facebook Live, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch should be able to see this chart. Okay, great. Thanks for bearing with me. Let's get to the questions. Thanks for holding on. Appreciate it. So is Qorvo still a buy? I think it is. It's a little bit extended. Let's go pull up the chart on Qorvo. I went into Qorvo basically yesterday, just because it's still top rated. I went in it yesterday. Typically, I like to do these trade alerts, and unfortunately, sometimes I don't have as long on them as I'd like to get them out there. But I try to get them out there as quick as I can. The symbol is QRVO, and it is a 5G company. They make the 5G products for. Okay, it's down quite significantly today, so maybe you don't want to enter it. Maybe you don't want to enter it right now. Wait until wait until it's back up into the buy range. So let me show you this chart. I don't think this is necessarily a buy right at this moment. Wait for it to settle. I do think it's off significantly today, but I do think it's going to firm up. It's still a 95 composite, so you never quite get the timing right. I do believe that if it hits the 40-day moving average, you're going to see it bounce in and move higher. But you want to always buy on a uptick, so you don't really want to buy this one now. Wait until it turns. I believe it will turn probably early next week. The market overall is down today, so probably not a buy at this moment. Let me see if I can. Hey, man. Hi, how are you doing? Thanks for watching me on YouTube. I so appreciate it. The trade alert that I have today, let me just show you that real quickly. The trade alert I have on Franklin, Nevada is right on the screen. If you're looking on YouTube, it's bit.ly/2D35VLG. So not the easiest thing to remember. If you could just maybe, if you're interested in it, just write it down, and then you can go directly to that particular trade alert. So that one might probably work for you very well. Okay, so how is KL looking? This is the other stock besides Franklin, Nevada, that is a top-rated gold stock. It's Kirkland Lake Gold. Let's see what the chart looks like today. Yeah, it's up. Well, it's very nice. It actually looks very, very good. Yeah, it's coming right out of a cup handle pattern. So very strong. Let me show you the chart on the screen right now. It's probably a good time to enter. You always want to enter a stock when it is moving in the right direction. So not only is the chart moving in the right direction, not only is the base, the cup and handle here, that's good too. It also has a 98 composite rating. You know, this might be a time. There's only one drawback here, and that is it's a little bit weak on the volume. The volume's down a little bit, but this is a strong one, and I think that, you know, if you're not going to buy it, not necessarily a bad time to buy this stock at all. So great. I have another question. Hey, Jim, is it a good time to buy the SQQQ? Yes. As a matter of fact, I bought the SQQQ this morning, and I want to show you the chart on it because I do think we're seeing a little bit of weakness in the Qs. I think there's going to be some consolidation. So I think that this is a good time. Now, you don't want to be in the SQQQ forever. Now, I'm going to show you this chart. It's going to be a little bit frightening because remember, this is an ETF and not a stock. This is a basket. This runs against the index. If you'll notice, there are some very strong volume here. It's above the 40-day moving average. It has a composite. It has a relative strength of 1. Why? Because it is against the QQQ. Now, I think the QQQ is going to turn. I think this is a turn here. I think this is going to reverse higher. It's higher today, a lot more volume, 97%. I bought this at basically at 675 level. It's down a little bit from that, but it's up overall about 2 to 3%. I will only hold this probably until I see approximately a 20% gain on up to about 810, and then I will sell it. But this is really a hedge against the other portfolio. I do think it's good, and I am currently in it. So I am currently in the SQQQ because I do think that we're going to see a little bit of, we're going to see a little bit of weakness. The dollar index is hitting 2-year lows. Will this have any negative effect on stocks? Well, I don't think it will. And the reason I don't think it's going to is because the dollar index is hitting the low, there is just all kinds of liquidity coming into the market. So my guess is no, that won't be the case here, just because of the way the Fed is working it. So that's the way I think on that. What is a good time price for the SQQQ? I think you want to buy an uptick. I think it's an uptick today. And I think that by, it's not a bad time to be in the Qs. I came in this morning at 675 on the SQQQ, and that's where I came into the market on the SQQQ. So let's see if we can give you a chart on that. And I just have a little bit of let me pull this up here so that you can see that on the screen. So let me just do that real quick. There we go. And I entered at 6. I entered at 675, and that's where I entered the Qs. I will be in it until it gets up to about 810 if it goes that high. This is going to be a short term for me. I'm looking at only possibly being in this just a few days until we see some turnaround in the market. So that's kind of where I'm at on this one. Okay, so TikTok. Let's see. We're going to take some thoughts on Tesla, Pfizer, and Hertz. Tesla. Okay, well, as everyone knows out there, I am holding Tesla currently. Interestingly enough, it doesn't look like I am going to get called out. I was surprised. I sold a call, a 1460 call for today. It looks like that is not going to be called. I'm not going to be called out on it, but I'm going to be a holder. I was a little bit lower than that when I bought in. This last time I was at about 1420 when I entered this trade. Tesla, I do believe is going to see some strength because they just announced that they're going to build a new plant for the Cybertruck that's going to be in Austin, Texas. And by the way, I think that will be very, very bullish for the Austin, Texas real estate market as well, because it's going to create about 5,000 jobs minimum, and then all the suppliers. Here's the chart currently. It is down a lot, $91, $92 right now at 1420. This is going to close probably below below where it was. So let's see if we can look at the chart really carefully to kind of get an idea of what's ahead for Tesla. And I'm just going to pull this chart up here and make it a little bit bigger so we can see it and see where the supports are for the issue. So let's go here. Okay, let's go on the daily chart, and let's do a little bit. Pull it up here a little bit, and so kind of look at the chart together here for just a second. This is the Tesla chart, by the way. It is a strong bar down, but it is moving back up. I think it's going to see some support on Monday at about the 1420, 1418 level. The reason I believe this is because of this complex here. When it topped, it typically comes down to this isn't a classic support line, but I do think that between 1400 and 1420, we're going to see some support, and then hopefully it will build again. It still has an extremely strong relative strength of 99. So, and it is also the 200-day moving average and the 40-day moving average. So those are both looking good. There was definitely, as you can see here, there's been some selling as it's selling into the weekend. So if you're in the stock, that I think that probably should hold it at least. If it violates the 8% rule, sell it. But I would still hold the stock. Also, though, if you're looking to enter the stock, wait until you have an uptick. We're currently not in an uptick, so I wouldn't enter it at this point. But when it reverses, and I do believe that might be a good chance to get into Tesla again. And I do think it's going to continue to move up. So watch Tesla very carefully. I think we're going to see some support at about 1400, 1420. And then once it moves higher, which I do believe it will, then on the uptick, that's when you want to be looking to buy Tesla. What happened to Zynex? Well, you can't always win all the time. Zynex kind of has lost some of its luster, I'm afraid. Let's look at the leaderboard chart on this to see, because I want to look at the annotations here. Z, Y, and X. Okay. What happened? Okay. Let's see. ZY, and X, I believe, is the symbol. No, ZYIX. Let me just type it out and find it. Let me see, that would be ZYN. Zynex. Yeah, ZYXI. For some reason, I always forget that one. I shouldn't, because it's a good stock. It was a good stock. Here we go. Here's what we're looking at in terms of the sort of the chart. It's really fallen off. Unfortunately, this is a sell signal. It's crashed through the it's crashed through the 50-day moving average here. We're lower than that, so this is a sell signal. You need to you probably need to do the ripcord on this one. It doesn't look like this one looks like it didn't quite make it. So if you're down 8%, of course, sell. But I would even consider, if you're not down 8%, I would sell this one. It's lost its support, and even though it's still a good stock, it just doesn't. It looks like this pattern is broken down a little bit. So I would get out. Always remember, and this is really important. This is the 8% rule, and I want to, be very, very. This is a very, very important rule. No matter where you buy, even if you buy on the best chart pattern, always put a stop loss at 8% down on your stock. And the way you do that, of course, to figure that out carefully, is take the price, multiply it times 0.92, and that's going to give you the number where you want to put the stop loss. And always do that good till canceled. So, because not all, even the best chart patterns, sometimes when they set up, they just don't, they just don't move higher. So you always want to have that 8% stop loss. Not everyone is going to be, is going to be a winner. So that's just that's the way it goes. I still have a buy on Corvo. On Corvo, will I hold? Yeah, I still think Corvo is very, very top rated. I'm actually in the stock. QRVO. It is a very good 5G play. It's off a little bit today. I mean, one day does not make anything. It's below the 10-day moving average, but it's still above the 40. So I'm still in the stock, absolutely still in the stock. And you see, there was some weakness here, but we're still above the 10. We're still above the 10-day. This 40-day moving average. This is the key. If it moves below, if it pierces below this on heavy volume, which it did have heavy volume, if this continues to move down, it pierces this, then it's a sell. But it's always a sell if you're down 8%. That's always the rule. That's always the rule on it. If it's down 8%, it's a sell. But right now, it's not. It's coming off a very strong cup handle pattern. So I do think that we're going to see it firm up a little bit and move higher. You never can quite get these all the time, but it still has an excellent pattern, and we're still above the 40-day moving average. So I would be, and I am, and I'm not just saying this, I have this stock, and I will be in the stock until it either does one thing. It either pierces the 40-day moving average on heavy volume, or it moves at below 8% on the 8% rule. So that's. How about Intel? Well, Intel reported, and the thing about Intel is, it's definitely a key stock. but it, like a lot of things when they report, and this is one of the reasons why when you're buying, a lot of times you don't want to hold through earnings. I want to show you the chart on this one because it's an interesting chart on the daily chart. So I'm going to pull the chart up here and show you. This sometimes happens on earnings. It's basically buy in rumor, sell in news. They didn't have a bad quarter, but there was a lot of selling action here. This is one of the reasons why I recommend, if you're holding a stock, it's always sort of a good idea not to hold it through earnings, just because you never know what's going to happen. So I typically like to sell on or before the day of the earnings, and I do this because it can react like this. Part of the reason you say, why would it fall after earnings? Well, the reason is because up until the earnings, it's anticipation, and then when the earnings come out, it is fact. So most stocks tend to move lower after earnings, even if they have good numbers, and that's definitely the case here with Intel. But it's still good. I mean, and it's down tremendously today. It's down 9.90. I don't think there's anything wrong with the stock. I just think that there's some sell orders that came in very hard on this. But again, because here is an issue that you have to look at on this chart, and I want to show it to you as well. The 10-day moving average line dropped below the 40, and that is a bearish sign. It's a mildly bearish sign. The 40-day is still above the 200-day, which is very good, but because of that, this is a little bit dicey here. What you really want to see is you want to see the 10-day on the top, the 40-day, and then the 200-day, and with that's really what you want to see. Also, if you'll notice, with the chart pattern on Intel, unfortunately, it is a downward trending pattern. So before you buy anything, you definitely want to buy it on a good formation, but you also want to buy an upward trending chart. And you don't really want to buy it into earnings. You want to sell it before earnings, and then after earnings, then re-enter it if it conforms to the right movement. So that's kind of a rule. It's a tough one because it's kind of somewhat arbitrary to do that. Do you have any Tesla? Is it overvalued? Well, I don't think so, but it's because the market is saying, you see, the value in anything is what somebody's willing to pay for it. So I don't really think you can have the case that the Tesla is overvalued. If you buy purely value stocks, you'll end up holding a lot of GEs and companies that are great in their industry, and their industry is going away. So I'm not a value investor. And I freely admit that. I am a momentum trader. I look to see where the momentum is going, and I don't think that Tesla is overvalued right now because people are buying it at that price. That's how I view it. And it sounds a little bit counterintuitive, but the market is moving in the direction of electric vehicles, at least for right now. The number one sector, and there's 197 sectors, is the automotive sector. And the number one stock in the automotive sector, of course, is Tesla. And everybody else is really not even in second place. They're more like in fifth place. Now, if you're looking for a stock that is, quote unquote, I believe, undervalued in the automotive space, but it's still not ready to buy yet, I would look at Ford. I think that Ford may be a stock that can make a good run. So that's my opinion on it. But I don't think it's overvalued. Okay, so thoughts on Pins and Redfin. Redfin is tough because I'm going to look at Redfin right here. I just don't know if this model works. The problem with Redfin is that, they were in the business of buying people's homes. Well, that I don't think that's necessarily going to work. I mean, it is going up. It is off a little bit. So let me show you the chart on Redfin. Let's see if I can get a weekly chart now. Okay, so yeah, okay. Let me look at the daily. Let's look at the weekly first, and then the daily chart as well. Let me see if I can do that. I just got a question from Mervin on Analog Devices. Analog Devices just bought Maxam Integrated. And I actually had a bull call spread on that. So I had that on that last week. But Analog Devices just purchased in a stock for stock transaction in a Maxam integrated product. So, interestingly enough, let's take a look at the Redfin chart. I'm not really that high on Redfin's business model. I do think they have an excellent site, but I think that Zillow's in there, Realtor.com. There's a lot of competition in that space, and but it does, it has a relative strength of 97. It is, it's definitely buyable at this point. It's a composite rating of 82. I typically like to see at least 80, and it is at a new high. So I would watch this one. I know it's up 160. I just don't particularly like this area, but it's definitely, Redfin is definitely a buyable. This is a buyable chart. I mean, this is definitely a buyable chart. So I'm not particularly in it just because I don't like the real estate space at this point. So pins, let me look at pins. PINS. See if I can give you an idea on that one. Yeah, Pinterest. Here's the issue with Pinterest, and this is the problem with all IPOs. You really have to be a little bit concerned because it's such a new stock. But let me show you the chart that I have on this one, and this annotated as well. It is moving back. There was a cup handle, but it failed, and then of course this was the drawdown. It's moved past the 200-day moving average. This is a bullish signal. This is a bullish signal with the 40-day moving average moving above the 200-day. That's bullish. But the last few days, there has been some weakness in it, and there's been some selling noted by these bars. But the selling hasn't been over the average. So this still could move a little bit higher. I wouldn't be in this one until it achieved a level of about 35.94. That's where I'd be looking to enter this one. I think I'd like to see a little bit more history on this one. I don't think it's too weak right now to buy it, but it's definitely a watch list. Out of these two, out of Pinterest and Redfin has got the better chart, though. But I like Pinterest better in terms of its business. So it's really a toss-up. Neither of them would I buy right now, but they're both potentially watch lists. They're not bad patterns, and they're not bad charts. So Virgin Galactic is a good buy. Well, here's the thing. I haven't been in Virgin Galactic since right before the earnings call in the first quarter. Now, what I did there is what I a lot of times do is I was holding it, and I was able to sell it out very nicely right before the earnings. And I want to show you this chart because it's interesting. This is why you should consider on these speculative ones holding it up until earnings, especially if it's moving up fast, and then selling it, because typically the earnings will cause it to move lower. And I want to show you this chart because this is very, very indicative. This is classic of that. As you can see, it moved up. This peak right here, these two bars here, this was when they announced in March. This is when they did their first quarter announcement. I believe that they've had a second. If they have a second, no, they're coming up on earnings on the 3rd. If it does look like it's moving higher. Now, here's the thing: if you want to do this is a much more speculative trade, and part of the reason I think that it's a little bit dangerous is because Richard Branson is basically out of cash because of his Virgin Atlantic. It's bleeding cash. But if you're going to be in this one, go in this one, but sell it before the August 3rd announcement. I wouldn't hold this one any more than August 2nd. If I was going to go into this one, which I'm not necessarily going into, but it does have strong volume here. I would be in only 2nd of August. After the 2nd of August, I wouldn't be in this one anymore because it's just too dangerous to hold it through earnings. So let's see on TikTok. Let's see if I have some here. I bought Pfizer after hearing it's a deal of about $20 million. Okay, well, Pfizer's good. Pfizer's a good stock. It's a good quality I like Bristol Myers Squibb a little bit better in the space, but I like Pfizer. P-I-Z, I think it's P, P-I, P-Z-R, I think it is. P-Z-I-R, is that right? P-I-Z-E-R, let's see if I can, okay, let's see if I can, on Pfizer, let me see if I can get that right. P-F-I-Z-E-R. Yeah. All right, let's look at the Pfizer chart. Not a bad chart. Let's look at the daily chart on it. It's off a little bit. It's almost looking like it's going to be able to be bought. Not quite yet. It's got a nice nice action here. Now, for a cup to form, you need at least 10 weeks basically of time. I'm going to show you the weekly chart because that's where you can count them very easily. And I don't know if you could see this on the chart, but yes, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's not bad. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this has formed a cup. It's not a great cup, but it is a cup. So it is formed a cup. It looks like a relatively good one in the chart pattern. Yeah, it's formed a cup, but it's moving down a little bit here. Now, it's probably going to form a little bit of a handle, and of course, we want to see it break out of that handle formation. But it definitely has enough time to be a cup, and it looks like it is deep enough to be a cup. Now, this is a very bullish sign in this chart. I don't like the fact that the relative strength rating is only 45. That means 55% of the market is doing better than this stock. But I do like this action on the 10-day moving average. It's moved above the 50-day and just right above the 200-day. This is bullish. What I want to see before I would buy this one is I would want to see it. I would want to see the 50-day move closer into the 200-day and possibly cross it above before I would buy it. But it does look like it's forming a cup pattern, and that's an interesting chart. This is not a bad. This is not a bad. This is not a bad chart to buy. So, but I would watch this. I think you can find. I think the Bristol Myers Squibb is better. Let me pull that Bristol Myers Squibb. BMY is a symbol on Bristol Myers. I think that Bristol Myers a little bit, yeah, it's trending lower. Unfortunately, it did have a cup and handle, but it is failed as well. So yeah, there's the cup and handle, but it is trending down. Unfortunately, Bristol Myers Squibb in this configuration is not viable. I hate to say that, but it's a watch list, but it's just not viable because the trend is down. You don't want to, if you don't have to, you don't want to enter a chart like that. Okay, let's see, PAAS. Interesting. PAAS. You see that PAAS? Let's take a look. Oh, nice chart. Pan American Silver. Okay. Well, again, hey June, thanks for always your suggestions are super. I'm warming up a little bit to the gold and silver miners. That's why I had that's why I have the bull call spread on Franklin, Nevada, by the way. And by the way, if you're interested in the bull call spread and seeing that, because it's kind of hard to see on the screen, I have to admit, just take this down. If you have a pen and pencil or a paper, this address bit.ly/2D35VLG, and this is the bull call spread that I just finished. Right before I went on the air with the action trade alerts. So, and by the way, if you want to subscribe to the action trade alerts, it's super easy. Just go to Dallas Trading Floor and sign up. It's all free. And if you're on TikTok and you can't see what I'm showing you because I'm actually simulcasting this on YouTube at youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor, just go to my profile, hit the link, and you'll be directed back to the subscription page for the free action trade alerts. So thanks for that. Let's take a look back at the chart here for Pan American Silver. you know, this is not a bad chart at all. You know, this is not a bad chart. Look at this. Now it is it did there's a little bit of a resistance here. It looks like at about a little bit over 35, but it's moved past that. So I think that this is not a perfect pattern by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think that this is a very viable stock. And the volume's down a little bit. I don't like this fact, but I do like this complex of up and down. This is what they call, this is a classic kind of a directional pattern called, it's called railroad tracks. And the way it is, because it looks kind of like railroad tracks, this typically is the weak and the strong hands fighting it out. Typically, when you see this and you see the 10-day moving average above, the 50-day moving average above, the 200-day moving average, that means there's buying pressure. It's probably going to go up. So it's got a very nice composite rating, 64. This is a nice chart. This is a viable chart, absolutely. But you want to be careful when you're buying the mining stocks because they can be a little bit volatile. It's up after hours too. So yeah, thanks again, June. You come up with some very good charts. This is a good one. Put this down on your list. PAAS. Very good. Thank you so very much. Did we miss AMD? Yes, unfortunately, I can't. Yesterday I was rushing to get my bull call, my bull call spread out on AMD. I knew that it was in the right pattern, and I had it all done, and I ran out of time, and I had some problems with my internet cable, and I didn't send it out, and I was. You know, the buy point on that was 59.50. It's up. It's above the buy point. I can't recommend, unfortunately, a buy, a bull call spread or a buy on AMD because it's extended. But wait with you know, you may get a second chance. You always. Here's the thing. Even when it's moved above the buy point, we may get a second chance on this one. It may pull back a little bit. If AMD in the next week or two pulls back below 65, that is the green go signal. I don't think, you know, but I don't want to. I think if you buy it now, you're buying it a little bit too high. It's a little bit. You want to wait a little bit for a pullback on this one. You know, and it's tough because you don't want to buy it as it's pulling back because it's going to have a down arrow, but as it moves out of the pullback, then you want to buy it. So let me show you the chart on this one. It is just, you know, what can you say? It's you know, everybody's discovering it. It's really good. This is the buy point here at 62.05. This is basically from 59.10. That's the buy point. And then it's really up to 62.05. So it's really past the buy zone. It gapped up. This would have been very nice to have captured this. This was a tremendous movement. Let's see if it moves down to the 65 to 62. I don't like to buy them extended like that, but I think that we're going to see. AMD has a very strong chart pattern, as you can see. I do think it's headed higher. But I just wouldn't buy it willy-nilly. I think we're just a little bit high on this. Look at the volume, boy, up 267. Somebody came in big. This is by the way, this is the funds coming in big and saying, look, we're going to reallocate some of our money into the semiconductor sector, and we really like AMD. It's top rated. It's 99 out of 99 composite. So we haven't missed it, but I just wait for it to maybe pull back just a tad before you go back in it. Very good stock, and I'm sorry I wasn't able to get out that bull call spread because I think that would have made some people some money today, and it would have made me some money. I just didn't have time to put it in. Because I had it all worked out, but I didn't get around to it, unfortunately. I bought Shopify 1,000 August 14 call, and I'm down 20%. Okay, here's the thing with calls. Here's the thing. This is one of the reasons why I don't like to typically. Here's one thing about calls. I don't typically like to hold them if if you've lost that much. Let me see what's the okay. It's the August 14th call, and you're already down 20%. Ooh. I would probably see if you can. I would sell it. I would sell it and wait for a better entry point. Here's the problem with holding a call that's down 20%. Typically, with a call, because it should do well right out of the gate. If it doesn't, then I think it's best to close the contract, close the position, and wait. And the reason I do this is because with calls, especially if you buy them, there is what they call theta decay, and that means that as it gets closer to the expiration date, the intrinsic value of the option goes down. So you've got a double-edged sword. Not only are you down, but you're getting a time burn on it too. I would close the position, and I close the position. On option contracts. You're going to give a little bit more leeway than on stocks. Stocks is typically an 8% with a option contract because it is a little bit much more volatile. You definitely want to rip when you're at about 20%. You just do, and then just wait. Again, I mean, it's one of those things. It's sometimes you catch the wave, sometimes not. So there you go. Okay, so on TikTok, let's see. Does he read the comments? I try to read as many of the comments as I can get to them. But here's the thing with the comments. The best way, if you have a question for me, is to go directly to the website so that I can answer them. I can answer them because I'm actually broadcasting on 5 different platforms. I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch. So it is a little bit. I sometimes don't get to all of the comments, but I tell you what. I do answer the comments that I can see in one place. One of the best places to go is either the website Dallas Trading Floor, or or go to YouTube. The YouTube, I'm trying to funnel all my comments through YouTube, and that way I have them all in one place so that I can answer them all. And if you want to make a comment, just go to youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor, and also and that's probably the best way to ask a question and to do a comment is youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor, and that's the best way if you have a question, to get it to me, because I don't. I'm trying to read everything, but it's tough sometimes. Okay, so let's see. What do you think about NEO chart? Well, okay. Here's the thing about NEO. I just again, this is sort of the same problem that I have with Nikola. NEO is, I mean, yes, it is the Chinese Tesla, and it does have some backing, but it's just, I just don't think you want to be in it. I just think it's an also-ran. I just don't think it's going to do well. I'm going to show you the chart here. It's moving down. I think that I don't know what the future portends for them, but I don't think it's not a Tesla. I mean, don't kid yourself. There's one electric vehicle company really, and then there's a lot of 5th place entries, and then there's a lot of 10th place industry. NEO is at least they're producing cars. Nikola hasn't even produced a vehicle, so but I just don't think that this is not a viable pattern. It topped out at this is a classic pump and dump. People get excited about it. They think, well, I've got a next Tesla. It's doing great. And then all the sponsors, they sell their stock, and then it just goes down. So this is a blow off top. And I believe we had a lot of shorts in this, and I probably have more. I can't be excited about a chart like this. I can't be excited about a company. Now, I hope I'm not offending anybody, because, a lot of people want to catch the wave, but I don't think NEO, at least not right now, is there. Now, if you do want to pay in the electric vehicle space and you don't want to pay Tesla prices, I think that you ought to look, and I know this is crazy, and I don't have a buy recommendation on this yet, but I think that we are coming into a point where we might see one of the big companies actually get its act together regarding electric vehicles, and I think that's Ford. And Ford is incredibly cheap right now. I mean, yes, it's not optimal, but you know, it's been trending up. The price is it's down a little bit today. It's trading at $6.89. I just can't believe Ford is trading like this. But if you want to buy a lottery ticket, this one might be your ticket because Ford can produce the vehicles. They do have electric trucks. They are producing product. Now, are they as good as Tesla? I don't think so. And I don't think they're going to be as good for a long time, for a while. But Tesla cannot be in all of their sectors. Tesla cannot be in the medium duty truck market with an electric vehicle. Ford could be in there, and I think they're playing this very smart. There's some very very good engineers at Ford, and I do think it may if you're looking for somebody that is going to be following the leader. I wouldn't look to a Neo. I wouldn't look to a Nikola. I'd look to an actually established company like Ford Motor Company that can actually produce the vehicles. And at $6.89, it's not gonna move up to where Tesla is. But if they can get their act together, we might see something better. So that's my play on it. Instead of going with one of the things about Ford is that they have billions of dollars right now in cash in the bank, and right now they do have the number one selling gas vehicle in the world. It's the F-150, and people are still going to buy it until the Cybertruck comes out, and it's going to be about 2 years, I think, for really the Cybertruck production to ramp up. And of course, that was just announced uh, the uh, for the Austin, Texas area. So, good time to buy Tesla. You know what? I think it is. I, again, here I am. I have made very, very good money on Tesla. I have been in Tesla since December, in and out of Tesla. I started buying it when it was when it was at its first base, 361, and then I was in it again at the second base, 869. It hasn't based yet for the third time, but it may be. So let's pull up the Tesla chart. I think we're going to see it settle at about 420 on Monday or so. This is the daily chart. As you can see, there's a big sell off here, but I do think we're going to see some support in on the intraday chart. So let's look at the intraday chart. Yeah, we're seeing support between about 1400 and 1450. That's kind of exactly where I thought it would be. I do think on Monday you're going to see this thing possibly trend higher, but I do think we have support at about that 1400, 1420 level. Again, I sold a call option on Monday on Monday of last week for 460. It looks like that's going to expire, which is great because I keep the premium. But I do think this is going to start heading up. So I do think that Tesla is a buy. And let me show you the chart on this one so you can see it. This is the intraday chart. This is typically the one that you look for how to enter and exit the trade, not necessarily overall trend. So to really see the overall trend, you have to go to the monthly chart. And I'm going to show you the monthly. This is the monthly chart. As you can see, it's just been moving almost straight up since really 2000. By the way, Tesla is up almost 300% this year alone, and I think that may it may continue. According to this, basically in this month it's up $337 or 30%, 31.2% in this month alone. This is July, so the fact that there's a pullback now, I think. Actually, normally I don't recommend buying on pullbacks because most of the time it's not the way to go. I think with Tesla, it is. I think that there's just a lot of froth in it, but I definitely think that if you're to get in at the 1400 or 1420 level, I don't think you would regret it. I really don't. I think Tesla is moving higher, and believe it or not. Okay, let's see. That was Intel. Let's see if still have a buy. I still have a buy on Corvo. Willis hold. Yeah, okay. I talked a little bit about that. Okay, so let's see if I can get Taiwan Semiconductor. Will keep us pace. It is worth watching. Absolutely, TSM is worth watching. It is a great company, and we're in a super cycle. There's been a movement to the latest chip architecture. By the way, it changes basically every 18 months. This is what they call Moore's Law. Sometimes it's referred to as Moore's Law. We're in the beginning of this 18-month cycle. You're going to see a lot of you're going to see a lot of action in certain kinds of stocks. Applied Materials, KLA, the companies that make the machines that make the chips. Now, Taiwan Semiconductor is a foundry, and they make for just about everybody else. They make for NVIDIA. They make for just about everybody else. And I think that we're going to see an upswing of that. Now, there is a little clouds on the horizon because of the China thing, because but I do think that a lot of people are going to realize that, they really probably don't want to source their fabs in China anymore because of the intellectual property. Taiwan Semiconductor is totally, it totally protects intellectual property, and I think you're going to see a lot of people, move to Taiwan Semi, and not that they aren't already there. I mean, Taiwan Semi has a tremendous following. So let me show you the chart on Taiwan Semi here. This is the you're looking right here at the weekly chart. I'm going to show you the monthly chart, just trying to show you this over the last year or so. It is just absolutely a great chart. Lower left, upper right, it's gapped up. This is what you want to see. Let's look at the daily. We had a beautiful gap up here out of a very deep cup. Not really a cup and handle, but a deep cup, and it definitely moved beyond the buy point. I think it's going to back off a little bit, but you never know. This is just a tremendous. This is a gap up right here, by the way, folks. When you see this kind of buying, this blue bar way above this line, it's double the line. This thing is headed north. This might be worth buying on Monday, even though it doesn't have necessarily the perfect pattern. I think this is headed up. I think Taiwan Semi is headed up. So that's definitely one that I'm going to put on here. TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, very, very, very good chart and very good company. So I do think that you might want to look at it. It's definitely worth watching. It's definitely worth putting on the watch list, if nothing else. Your thoughts on GFI? See about GFI. Okay, this is Goldfields. Oh, okay, not bad. This is another gold stock. Here's the thing about the gold stocks. I think that Harmony in the cheap stocks, I think that Harmony Gold is a better chart. It's a cheaper price, but this is only $12. This is only $12. Goldfields, and it is a New York Stock Exchange stock. If you don't want to do the mining plays, the ones that are in South Africa are probably the best. You might want to look at AU. Let me pull up the chart for AU. I think it's a little bit stronger company than GFI, but in the gold stocks, let's take a look at AU. Let's see if I can get a good chart for AU. Yeah, there we go. It's a little bit more expensive. This is up $2 almost. Yeah, and up with a good vibe. I think this is probably, if you want to be in the golds, this is probably a better bet than GFI. This AU is the symbol on it. It's it's old Anglo-American. They call it Anglo Gold, Ashanti, which is basically it is a South African gold miner. It is basically the old Anglo-American. One thing that you should know is that South Africa has the most undervalued currency in the world, and so their production costs, believe me, are very, very good. This is a world beater company. Their mines, I think, are right in and around Johannesburg, but very, very good one. If you're looking for Goldfields, take a look at the Anglo Gold as well. Take a look at that one. I think that it may be a little bit stronger. It's a bit more expensive, but I think it's a little bit more quality. So, but they're both quite good. So they're both quite good. CCL. CCL. CCL is Carnival. No. Please, 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 people, don't buy Carnival. It's going to take a long time for this to recover. With this COVID thing, they're only running at they're not even running at 10%. They have huge ship mortgages that they have to pay. I don't know if this company is frankly going to survive without a restructure. I know that everybody on Robinhood loves this. Please don't buy this. This is a horrible stock. It once was good when we didn't have these travel restrictions, but right now this is a suicide to buy this stock. Don't buy Carnival Cruise Lines, please, 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 please. Don't buy Carnival Cruise Lines. I think it's horrible. ACAD, ACAD. Let's look at ACAD. Okay. Pharma. Okay, okay. It's not bad. There's better ones than this in the sector. There's better ones than this. This is not bad. I don't want to buy a stock that's only a 67. There's only a 67 when I can buy much better than that. I'm not really jazzed with this one. This doesn't. This is not a terrible stock, but this is a mediocre chart, and it's got a 10-day that's dropping. It's also already dropped. When you see this thing, when the red bars drop below the 200-day moving average, this is a sell signal. This is a sell. If you have this right now, I would sell it. This is a sell signal on Arcadia. So I can't really recommend it. I think that if you have it and you're down 8% or more, you want to sell this thing like pronto, because it looks by the looks on this chart, it's not going higher. It's going to go lower. It's going to go lower. So I'm sorry to give you that news. Okay, Corvo is going from cup to cup, and handle. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. I am in Corvo. By the way, I want to show you my current holdings so that you can see kind of what I have. Now I'm going to be moving this around a little bit this weekend because I have some stocks that are being called out. But this is currently what I have. This is my portfolio. Now these are the same stocks on top and on bottom. I basically have Netflix, Teladoc, Blink Charging, Tesla, Audio Codes, Corvo, and the SQQQ. That's what I currently have right now as we speak. On Monday, I'm probably going to be out of Teladoc. I've reached the target on that one. And I'm probably going to be, I'm not going to be out of Corvo. I have 100 shares of that, not a lot. But I've sold a call on Netflix. I'm probably going to be out of that by the end of next week. I'm going to be out of Netflix. So that's my current holdings, just for everybody out there, sort of to keep me honest. Keep me honest. So I'm actually trying to show you exactly what I have and trying to be totally transparent. Ford teamed with Intel to acquire Mobileye, which is the same as Tesla. Yes, absolutely. And this is the reason, folks. This is the reason why, if you want the Tesla compatible stock, because Tesla is way expensive right now. I think Ford is where you want to be. I think it is. I think of any of the big three, at least in the United States, they are probably going to do the best in this electric vehicle area. Also, I do believe that the German manufacturers really don't know what's going on. I think that Volkswagen is in trouble. I think Mercedes. Do you know that Mercedes had 10% of Tesla and they sold it? So I'm not really very bullish on Mercedes. So VW, which is Audi, Porsche, and VW, I'm not bullish on them either. Now, the one wild card in that we haven't heard from is Toyota. I think Toyota. Never underestimate Toyota. It's symbol TM, and I do think that that's the other one that's probably going to emerge here. I think it's going to be Tesla, Ford, and Toyota. That's my guess in who's going to be in this electric vehicle area. And so, anyways, thank you so much, Marion. Thanks for watching me on YouTube. I think it's great. And by the way, if you want to sign up for my trade alerts, and I'll just show you this really quick. If you want to show up on my trade alerts, it's DallasTradingFloor.com. Now, I've been a whole hour, and thank you everybody for taking a look here today. And I will see you on Monday. Happy trading, and be careful on entering trades. We're getting the market's getting a little bit softer. It's getting a little bit more difficult, but hopefully we'll see some firming up by next week. So thanks for